Good morning. Good morning to all viewers across Europe and the world, and welcome here from the Hilton Airport Hotel in Munich, Germany. Welcome to the draws for the EuroLeague Women and EuroCup Women season 2020-2021. My name is Ljubomir Mandić. I'm head of competitions for FIBA Europe, and I will be the moderator of this draw today. But before we start with the draws, I would like to ask for a few welcome words the FIBA Executive Director Europe, Mr. Kamil Novak.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you here in Munich and all around Europe for the draws of the competitions. We live in difficult times, in the challenging times. The life has changed, not only, but also in the world of sports. Nevertheless, the life goes on. Also, the basketball, the club competitions will go on. And obviously, we continue to follow up and to monitor the situation in Europe in generally and in each of the country. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We hope that we will be able to start and to play the European club competitions. You know, it's always been one of the priorities for our work, the European competitions. Now on the top, the women's competitions or the women basketball is one of the pillars of the work of FIBA for the term 2019 to 2023. And in line with this, we have tried over the last months in a difficult period to work on different things to improve the quality, to improve the level. And it is my pleasure now to present for the first time the new corporate identity and the new logo of the EuroLeague Women. So please enjoy a short presentation. Thank you very much. So the EuroLeague Women will start the 2020-2021 season with the new logo. Please note that all the details, the complete CI will be presented later today at FIBA.basketball. Now, I wish all the teams, all the clubs, best of luck for the draw. Obviously, I wish all of you stay healthy, stay safe. And I pass now on back to Mr. Mandić to take you through the draws. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will now proceed to the draws. But before we do that, let's have a look at some of the action from last season with a highlight video of the EuroLeague Women individual award winners, the most valuable player, the defensive player of the year, and the young player of the year, to give us a taste of what on-court action looked like. Okay, now we should be ready for the technical part of the draw, and in order to do so, I would like to ask on stage first my dear colleague and former Spanish international, Elizabeth Cebrian. And in order to perform the draw today, we have a special guest here. It is German national team captain and FIBA timeout alumni, Svenja Brunkhorst. Okay, a little bit about the procedure. 18 clubs have registered for the EuroLeague Women. Therefore, 2 qualifier pairings have to be played in home and away elimination games. In order to respect the regulations for the ECW and the geographical conferences, those 2 pairings have already been predetermined and can be seen now. Exactly, it is the 2 pairings between Miskolc and Izmit from Turkey, Miskolc from Hungary and Izmit from Turkey, and Spar Girona will face off in the qualifier against Sepsi from Romania. The winners will feed into the EuroLeague Women regular season. The losers will feed in the respective conference of the EuroCup Women regular season. Now we will start with the draw for EuroCup Women Conference 1. A total of 33 clubs have registered for the competition. Additionally, the 2 losers from the EuroLeague Women qualifiers will join, making it 35. Therefore, 3 qualifiers will be played to reduce to 32 club regular season, spread over 2 conferences. In Conference 1, we will have 16 clubs over 4 seeds, which you can see here. And those teams from the 4 seeds will be drawn into 4 groups of 4. The restrictions for this draw is that clubs from the same country can be in the same group, but with a limit of a maximum of 2 clubs from the same country in the same group. Then I think we are ready to start and can draw the first team from seed 1. This is Sexart from Hungary. They will go into Group A. This is the loser of the EuroLeague Women qualifier pairing between Miskolc and Izmit. Will go into Group B. Hatay from Turkey into Group C. And MBA Moscow from Russia into Group D. Let's have a quick look at what groups look like after seed 1. Sexart in Group A, the loser of Miskolc Izmit in Group B, Hatay in Group C, and MBA Moscow in Group D. And we can continue with seed 2. This is Unigör from Hungary. They will go into Group A. Orman Gençlik from Turkey into Group B. Spartak Moscow region Vidnoye into Group C. And that should leave us with Gorzów from Poland into Group D. Again, a quick overview of what the groups look like. 2 Hungarian teams in Group A, Sexart and Győr. Loser of Miskolc versus Izmit and Orman Gençlik in Group B. Hatay and Spartak Moscow region in Group C. And MBA Moscow and Gorzów in Group D. we can continue with the teams from seed 3. Kayseri from Turkey, they will go into Group A. A3 Basket Umea from Sweden into Group B. Ceglet from Hungary into Group C. And that should leave us with Brno from Czech Republic for Group D. Here again the overview of the groups after seed 3. Before we go on with seed 4, there's one more restriction that I need to mention for the draw based on a decision of the Board of FIBA Europe. A club from Ukraine will be kept separate from Russian clubs in the regular season, which means that Prometei from Ukraine will not be drawn into either Group C or D, which means if other teams are drawn first, they will be moved to the next available group. Ready to continue with teams from seed 4. And this BC Prometei, they will go into Group A. This is Adana, and because we already potentially have 2 Turkish teams in Group B, they will be moved to the next available group, which is Group C. Ramla from Israel will go into Group B. And the most difficult name of the day, Özel Idare from Turkey into Group D. This concludes the draw for the teams, and in order to finish the draw for Conference 1, we will now proceed to draw the numbers to determine the order of play. The first line will get number 1. Number 2. Yeah, the other way around. Number 3, very accurate. And that should leave us with number 4 for the last line. This concludes the draw for EuroCup Women Conference 1. You can see the results. And now we will move on immediately to the draw for the qualifiers in Conference 2. As I mentioned before, 6 teams will be drawn in 3 qualifiers pairings for Conference 2. Those 6 teams have been separated in 3 seeded and 3 non-seeded teams. The seeded teams, Hainaut from France, La Laguna from Spain, Namur from Belgium, and the non-seeded teams, Mechelen from Belgium, Winterthur from Switzerland, and Grengewald from Luxembourg. And now we will quickly draw the 3 pairings here. The first team coming from the seeded pot. La Laguna from Spain. They will face off against the Kangaroos Mechelen from Belgium. Back to the seeded teams. Basket Namur from Belgium. BBC Grengewald Höchstadt from Luxembourg. And that is Saint-Amand Basket from France. They will face off against BC Winterthur from Switzerland. This concludes the draw for the qualifiers of EuroCup Women Conference 2. You can see the three pairings here. La Laguna from Spain against Mechelen, Namur from Belgium against Grengewald from Luxembourg, and Hainaut from France against Winterthur from Switzerland. We will take a few seconds to get ready for the next draw, which will be for EuroCup Women Conference 2. In the meantime, we can have a look at some of the highlights from last EuroCup Women 2019-2020 season. Okay, we are ready to continue and to go. Hopefully we will have similar or even better highlights on the courts very, very soon. And in order to be able to do that, we need to draw now also Conference 2 of EuroCup Women. Again, we will have 4 seeds of 4 teams to be drawn into the groups E to H. You can see the seeds here. We also have the loser of the EuroLeague Women qualifier pairing versus Girona and Sepsi, as mentioned before, in seed 1. And in seed 4, we have the winners of the ECW qualifiers that we have just drawn before. I think we're ready to go and can start with the teams from the first seed. Rea Venezia from Italy into Group E. Flam Carolo Basket from France into Group F. This is the loser from the EuroLeague Women qualifier between Girona and Sepsi into Group G. And Castors Breine from Belgium into Group H. Again, the overview of the 4 groups. Venezia in Group E, Carolo Basket in F, the loser of Girona Sepsi in G, and Castors Breine in H. And we can continue with the teams from seed 2. This is Elfik Fribourg from Switzerland into Group E. Guernica Vizcaya from Spain into Group F. ESBVA Villeneuve Dusk back on the European courts in Group G. And Valencia VC into Group H. Facing off with Castus Breine. And the overview again of the 4 groups: Venezia and Fribourg in E, Carolo and Guernica in F, loser of Girona and Sepsi versus Villeneuve Dusk in G, and Breine and Valencia in H. And we can continue with teams from seed 3. Londerno Bretagne Basket into Group E. La Roche-Vendée Basket from France into Group F. Cadillaceu from Spain into Group G. And Basket Hema Saint-Catherine-Wavre from Belgium with the Belgian Derby in Group H. Again, the overview of the 4 groups after seed 3. Here, just to mention that as we already have 2 Belgian clubs in Group H, there will not be a lot of options for teams to go into Group H because we have 3 Belgian clubs potentially here, and therefore it will be that other teams, if drawn, then will be moved automatically to Group H. Let's continue with teams from seed 4. Phantoms Basket Boom from Belgium, they go into Group E. This is winner of ECW Qualifier 2 between Namur and Grengewald. Just a second. They will have to be moved to Group G because we already have 2 French teams in Group F, and the Hainaut therefore cannot go, the pairing with Hainaut cannot go into Group F, and the pairing with Mechelen can also not go into Group H. So Namur versus Grengewald into Group G. Okay, the next team is winner ECW Qualifier 3 between Hainaut and BC Winterthur, and for the reason mentioned before, with 2 French teams in Group F, Hainaut as a potentially 3rd French team will go into Group H. Last but not least, winner ECW Qualifier 1 between La Laguna and Mechelen goes into Group F. A little complicated, but we got there. Now all that's left to do is to draw the numbers to determine the order of play. We start with number 3. Followed by number 1. Number 4. And finally number 2. And this concludes the draw for EuroCup Women Conference 2. You can see the results now here again. We will now get ready for the draw for the EuroLeague Women regular season. But before we do that, we will have a look at some of the highlights of the EuroLeague Women first and second team. Okay, we are ready to continue with the draw for the EuroLeague Women regular season 2020-2021. Here, as a quick reminder, what we've shown at the very beginning are the 2 pairings for the qualifiers that have been predetermined on geographical criteria. Again, in the first qualifier, Miskolc from Hungary will face off with Izmit from Turkey, and Girona from Spain will face off against Sepsi from Romania. Those 2 teams are in seat 8, and now we can have a look at all of the seats for the EuroLeague Women regular season draw. And we will draw 2 groups of 8 with the following restrictions. A maximum of 2 clubs from the same country can be in the same group. We have 3 countries that are potentially represented by 3 clubs. So one group will have a maximum 2 countries with that are represented by 2 clubs. In case we have a country with exactly 2 clubs, these clubs shall be drawn into different groups if possible, which it will. We are ready to start, and we will start with seed 1. Dynamo Kursk into Group A. UMMC Ekaterinburg, still the defending champion, into Group B. We move on to seed 2. USK Prague from Czech Republic into Group A. And Sopron Basket from Hungary, the host of the last two Final Fours, into Group B. Now let's have a quick look. So far in the two groups, we have Kursk and Prague in Group A, and Ekaterinburg and Sopron in Group B. Moving on to teams in Seed 3. Fenerbahce from Turkey into Group A. And Bush Basket from France into Group B. Moving on to teams in Seed 4. Nadezhda from Russia, they will go into Group A. And Famila Schio from Italy into Group B. Again, let's have a quick look at the two groups. Kursk, USK Prague, Fenerbahce, and Nadezhda in Group A. UMMC, Sopron, Bush Basket, and Schio in Group B. Moving on to teams in Seed 5. TTT Riga, and here, due to the restriction of separating clubs from countries with exactly 2 clubs, Riga will be moved into Group B because the 2 qualifiers contain a Hungarian and a Spanish team, which therefore Avenida will have to be kept separate from Sopron and will therefore have to go to Group A. So Riga will go into Group B. And Perfumerias Avenida, for the reason mentioned before, into Group A. Moving on to teams from Seed 6. Galatasaray will go into Group B due to the restrictions with the countries with a maximum of 3 teams each. Galatasaray into Group B. And Lyon Asvel Femina from France into Group A. So this is what the groups look like so far. Kursk, Prague, Fenerbahce, Nadezhda, Avenida, Asvel in Group A. UMMC, Sopron, Burj, Schio, Riga, and Galatasaray in Group B. Moving on to teams from Seed 7. Basket Lond from France will be moved into Group B to avoid, again, clubs from the countries with 3 teams each in the same group. So Basket Lond in Group B. And Arka Gdynia from Poland in Group A. And finally, the 2 qualifiers. It's the winner of Miskolc versus Izmit in Group A. And the winner of Girona versus Sepsi, therefore in Group B. This concludes the draw for the teams. And we will now draw the numbers 1 to 8 to determine the order of play. We start with number 2. Followed by number 7. Number 1. Number 8. Number 3. Number 5. Number 6. And number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the draw for the EuroLeague Women regular season 2020-2021. I want to say thank you to both Svenja and Elizabeth for the good work done at the draws, and I want also to wish the participating teams the best of luck for the upcoming season, and most importantly, everybody to stay healthy. Thank you for being with us here this morning, and goodbye. So strange.